The teacher knelt to greet her daughter, and the woman at the back of the classroom stopped breathing. She knew that face had spent 3 years making sure it stayed invisible. Now it belonged to the person who would hold her daughter's hand every morning, teach her to read, decide whether she was seen or overlooked. The circle had been closing for 2 decades, and she had never seen it coming. Her name was Melissa, and in middle school, Melissa was the sun everyone else orbited around. She had the loudest laugh, the biggest lunch table, the most friends on the weekend. Being near Melissa meant you mattered, and being far from her meant you simply didn't exist. She wasn't cruel in the way adults notice. She never shoved anyone, never shouted insults in the hallway. Her power was quieter than that. A look. A turned shoulder. A laugh at exactly the wrong moment. And there was one girl who didn't exist, the girl who sat in the back row of every class. The one who raised her hand and then slowly put it down, who ate lunch alone with a book open on the table. Her name was Song, and Song had done nothing wrong. She was simply quiet, and quiet, in Melissa's world, was the same as invisible. It started with small things, a whisper when Song walked past, a seat saved for everyone but her at the cafeteria table. Then one afternoon, Melissa walked through the classroom with a stack of bright pink envelopes, birthday party invitations. She made sure Song saw every name called except her own. One envelope remained in the stack when Melissa walked past her desk, and Song saw it. When Song finally spoke up in history class, her voice soft and careful, Melissa laughed, not loud, not cruel, just enough. The other girls followed. Song stopped raising her hand. She stopped eating in the cafeteria altogether. She started sitting even further back, pressed against the wall like she was trying to disappear through it. One teacher noticed. Mrs. Ramirez saw the girl in the back row, saw the hand that went up and came down, and walked straight to her desk after class. She asked Song a question, not in front of everyone, but quietly, just the two of them. Song answered. Mrs. Ramirez listened. The next week, she asked Song to help organize the classroom library after school. That small act of being seen was enough. Song began to speak again, softly at first, then more. She joined the school newspaper. She wrote stories about people no one noticed, the janitor who knew every child's name. The cafeteria worker who saved the last warm cookie for the shyest kid. She went to college to study education, and she became a teacher herself. In her classroom, no one sat in the back row unless they chose to. Every hand that went up was called on. Every name was on the list. Melissa hardly thought about Song after middle school. The years swept forward. She graduated, married, had a daughter named Emma, a bright, chatty girl with her mother's confidence, who made friends easily, who never knew what it felt like to be overlooked. And on the first morning of first grade, Melissa walked Emma to room 7, held her small hand at the door, and looked up at the teacher. The teacher knelt down to Emma's level. "Hi there," she said, in a voice Melissa recognized, quiet, careful, steady. "I'm Ms. Song. I'm so glad you're in my class." Melissa stood frozen at the back of the room, her hand still reaching for the doorframe. She watched Ms. Song write Emma's name on the welcome poster, each letter careful and deliberate, full of warmth. Emma's name was on the list. Of course it was. Because Song was not the kind of person who left anyone off. The room felt small and very still. Melissa had spent years making someone feel small in the back of a classroom. Now she stood in the back of one herself, hoping, quietly, that the person she had diminished would be kind to her child. Here is what the world teaches: whether we are ready or not, the people you overlook today may be the very ones you need tomorrow. The person who seems to have no power over your life might one day hold something you love in their hands. When you choose who to see and who to ignore, you are not just making someone else small. You are deciding who you will be when the circle comes back around. Melissa watched her daughter run to join the other children. Miss Song caught her eye from across the room and gave a small nod, not cold, not warm, just recognizing. I see you. I remember. The woman in the back row stood very still, and for the first time in her life, she understood exactly what that felt like.